significantly higher over the last several years than gas prices in other parts of Vermont, in New England, and throughout the country. And that is the primary issue that we're going to be looking at today. I think we all understand that in a rural state like Vermont, high gasoline prices have a very serious impact on many people and families in our state. Now, let me be very clear at the onset. The issue that we are exploring today is a complicated one, and it is extremely opaque. It is an issue which has not, in my view, gotten the public attention or the transparency that it deserves. Today, what we are going to try to do is, to some degree, lift the veil of secrecy to the best that we can on this complicated issue. We have in this nation 5 giant oil companies, ExxonMobil, BP, Shell, Chevron, and ConocoPhillips, that have made more than $1 trillion in profits over the last decade. I think it is fair to say that most people in Vermont and throughout this country have the belief that year after year, as these companies make enormous profits, they do not stay up nights worrying about the needs of working families or consumers. And I just want to point out, just in passing, that in 2005, Lee Raymond, the former chairman of ExxonMobil, was given nearly $400 million in a retirement package by that company. I should also mention that many of these same giant oil companies receive huge subsidies and tax breaks from the federal government, something which on another day we can talk about at length. According to Opus, and we'll hear testimony from Ben Rockwell from Opus on this issue, and Opus is the Oil Price Information Service, we learned that earlier this summer, the Burlington area was the most profitable gasoline market in the Northeast, more profitable than Washington, D.C. or New York City, or in fact, any other region east of the Rocky Mountains. That the Burlington area was the most profitable gasoline market in the Northeast. Further, according to additional information we received from Opus, gasoline profit margins in Burlington more than tripled from January 1st of this year through June 30th of this year. During the first half of this year, Burlington was one of the most lucrative markets in the entire eastern half of the United States of America. As Ben Rockwell, the Director of Data at the Oil Price Information Service, Opus, who is here with us today, told the Burlington Free Press on July 13th, and I quote, "Burlington is always the top market in the Northeast in terms of profits," end of quote. Let's be clear. What we have seen in the first half of this year is not an aberration. Over the last 3 years, gasoline prices and profit margins have almost always been higher in the Burlington area than the national average. In fact, over the past 3 years, Burlington area gas prices have exceeded the U.S. average 86% of the time, sometimes by as much as 29 cents per gallon. And Burlington gasoline prices over the past 3 years have exceeded the statewide average 72% of the time. Prices in St. Albans exceeded both the U.S. average and the Vermont average 90% of the time. Prices in Waterbury exceeded the U.S. average 97% of the time, and the Vermont average 100% of the time. As my office has looked into this issue, we have tried to understand why prices in Northwest Vermont were so much higher than the rest of the nation, the rest of New England, and in fact, the rest of our country. And one conclusion that we have reached is that it appears that there is just not a whole lot of competition when it comes to gas prices in this region, certainly as compared to other parts of the state and other parts of the country.